Hey friends, Mark Holmes here with Joe Boo. Michael's right here with me. Headed to my day job working this evening, and I'm going to be doing some work real fast and getting the F out of there. By now, you've probably heard about Zeke Elliott, that the Fifth Court of Appeals has fallen on the side of the NFL in a case that is literally not enough evidence for the court system to bring charges. It all hinges on the NFL believes Tiffany Thompson, whose testimony has more holes in it than a block of Swiss cheese. Even though there's text messages of her basically saying, "I will ruin you, you're a black man," who do you think they're going to believe? Well, apparently they're believing Tiffany Thompson. Even though there's text messages of her talking about blackmailing him so she can get a boob job and go on vacation. Even though there's text messages from her telling a friend to lie to the police. With all that, the NFL still says she's credible. We believe her. Even though the NFL's own person who interviewed Tiffany Thompson said she's not credible. There's nothing here that I can use. But the NFL still went after Zeke Elliott. And if you've been under a rock and don't know about the case and so on, the NFL came through with their 160-page report with all of this damning information that said he's guilty from our investigation, even though the police department in Ohio investigated it and said there's not enough here to bring charges. Even though Zeke Elliott had a restraining order against her for harassment, and when she found out that existed, proceeded to call him over 39 times after 2 a.m. harassing him. But the NFL says he's guilty of domestic violence. Zeke had gotten a temporary injunction where a court in Texas that basically said, hold up, wait a minute, we're going to look at this thing and we're going to rule it. But the NFL wasn't good with that. The NFL said, we're going to get it overturned from that court because we want him suspended today. We want it done right now. And the Fifth Court of Appeals in New Orleans has done just what the NFL wanted them to do. So they have taken Zeke Elliott away. Now I'm here to say that I don't believe that this is going to be the end of the Dallas Cowboys season. I could be wrong. But the NFL season is one of those things that's completely unpredictable. Because you have teams that on paper should always win, but sometimes it's a little outside influence. It seems almost godly that changes games. Things that you don't think will ever happen. And let's go ahead and deal with the 800-pound gorilla in the living room. Let's be honest with ourselves. Zeke Elliott was not the same running back that he was last year. Zeke Elliott was getting 5.1 yards a carry, and some of that you can say is the offensive line is not opening up the holes that he had last year, which is true. But even last week, watching that game, talking to Michael, I said to Michael that Zeke Elliott looks slow getting to the holes. He's not hitting it with authority and looks like he's not quite there. He turned around the fourth quarter, had 86 yards. But if you take away that 86-yard fourth quarter, the rest of the season, Zeke has not been performing very well. That's the only game that he had over 100 yards. And right now is only averaging 3.7 yards a carry with that monster fourth quarter. He's still averaging roughly 2 yards less in receiving yards, but he's getting more catches. So the yardage he was getting per pass play has gone down. I don't know if it's dealing with this whole situation and the burden and always reading the newspaper day after day that, you're a domestic violence abuser and, going from this court and winning and then hearing, oh no, here it is. All that stuff's got to play with your psyche. And it's got to screw you up. It screwed me up, and I'm not even him. Maybe, just maybe, the best thing is, fine. Let's just go ahead and sit these games, because that's what we're going to have to do. Unless the NFLPA can pull another rabbit out of its hat and get another court to overrule them. I don't know. At this point, it's just like, let's just get it over with. But maybe, just maybe, Zeke Elliott, sitting for these next 6 games, gives him a little peace, a little time to reflect, a little time to get some hunger back in his bones, to maybe feel, I've been screwed, and I am going to go out there like a madman when I get back. I'm going to go on a tear. And then you have him for the stretch run, for the last 5 games, and hopefully in the playoffs. And if he does hit his stride, if the Cowboys can keep it together until then, maybe you're going into the playoffs with a rejuvenated Zeke Elliott, who is out for vengeance. In the meantime, we got some games we can win. We have a division that still, I know people are saying fly, Eagles fly, and they haven't punched out for the Super Bowl, but see, here's the thing about that stuff, where the talking heads basically just go by a record. I'm telling you that record is mostly smoke and mirrors. They haven't beat a team with a winning record. They beat the Redskins as the best win that they've had. The Washington Redskins, a division rival. Games that are always close. You beat the Cardinals, but they're 2-3. You beat the Giants, but heck, a high school team can beat the Giants right now. You beat the Chargers, who their only win is over the Giants. They play a quality team tonight, and they're getting banged up. Smallwood is out. Lane Johnson is out. They're going to come back to earth this week, tonight. We've got the 49ers, winnable game. We got the Redskins, winnable game. And then we've got Kansas City and Atlanta, tough games. But then we have the Chargers, and then I believe the Eagles. We can easily go 4-2 in those games. We go 4-2. What?
No, the Redskins after the Chargers.
Oh, the Redskins. I'm sorry. The Redskins. That's right. We play the Redskins the second time. Sorry. See? That's why I got Michael. I wish he would help me more because I'm getting old and senile. So we got the Redskins again. These are games that will win and have a direct relationship to winning the NFC East. We go 4-2 in these games. All of a sudden, we got Zeke Elliott back, hopefully back to where he was last year. Going through a stretch run late in the season when you need to run the ball. In the meantime, you're developing more of the passing offense. You got Alfred Morris, who's been resting his body for the last year and a half. I'm not ready to give up just yet, and I believe that this may be the impetus that brings the Dallas Cowboys together to say, F you, NFL. We're going to do it because you are trying to make us not do it. Son, am I crazy?
No.
That's what I believe. That's what I'm going to hope for. And that's what I'm going to work towards. The NFL has given themselves a black eye. This whole thing is like the anthem protest where everybody stinks in it. Nobody looks good. Yeah, you got him suspended, but it looks like you may have gotten an innocent man. Possibly. There's beyond a shadow of a doubt. Well, I'm Mark Holmes. Michael, Cowboy Joe Boo. And it is what it is. Back to the day job.